this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey?
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So I'm going to have to figure out, I'm using this as a setting mainly because I'm trying to get a good idea. We're going to be filming something for another program next week. So we want to use this as our backdrop. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to use a different camera because this camera really is not good with catching lighting, as you can see. The shininess.
Shiny.
But we're checking it out. At least we're getting the idea. I'm going to get my wife involved with that. And hopefully you're going to see this backdrop if you see that special project, but with the less of the shakiness, probably a little bit better with the clarity. I think that's going to look good though.
Good times.
So I'm going to go ahead and start us off this time.
Okay.
So on the Right Stuff sale, they had a couple of the, the one-times, what do they call it, the dailies.
Yeah.
And of course, I usually wait till the end, unless it's something I think is going to sell out. I usually wait till the end because they put them all back on sale again at the very end. And one of those was the Goblin Slayer movie, which Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown. I'm collecting it. I don't think I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's really good. And I've heard that's rather very dicey at the beginning. And about this guy is getting revenge on goblins, and he meets all these different people. So I am curious about it. I will get into it one day. I've actually got all of my stuff now from the Right Stuff sale except for 2 items. I've got the part 2s of those series, but not the part 1s. One of the part 1s actually is in stock. The other one has been out of stock since December.
Okay.
So I'm kind of waiting for that to come in, and then I'll have everything complete. When I put everything into my collection, I sorted it all this weekend. And oh boy, that was a project. I did leave room for those.
Okay.
So, then there's Zetsubo Sensei, which it was pushed back to April. So, so yeah, you get to celebrate your birthday in April this time around. I'm going to try and move this so it's a little bit less
probably
shaky.
will from the way things are looking.
So, that's it for my first one.
Okay. So, I have a theme of this week, which is I ain't got shit to present this week that's new. So I thought I'd go back and find a few things that have been sitting around, collecting dust, need to be added properly to the collection. Some of them still need to be opened, that kind of thing. This one may very well have been a Right Stuff holiday sale. It probably was a Right Stuff sale. Had I waited and gotten it, I probably would have gotten it much cheaper from Sentai, or I would have got the complete collection, which I could still upgrade at some point. But in the meanwhile, sitting around, taking up space, the show I really want to see is the Book of Bantura, which I have, one volume.
That's the camera right there.
Yeah, I know. Got one volume there. And actually, that's the first volume there.
Yeah, it's 2 volumes.
Yeah.
They did like a full series set.
They did do a full series follow-up to this, but it looks pretty interesting. It looks fun. It's, it says, "Welcome to the Library of Bantura, where the past is an open book." And it has something in another place, in time and place, in a world of pain and sorrow, when someone dies, their soul doesn't go to heaven or hell. It becomes a book. A book that reveals their innermost secrets and can be read by anyone.
Dun dun dun.
And so you have this organization called the Armed Librarians protecting said books, etc., etc. It sounds like a pretty interesting premise. I don't really... I think the series has a decent rep, but I really couldn't say for sure. It's, like I said, I'll get to it eventually. Probably end up upgrading before I get around to actually watching these copies.
Yep. All right, let's see here. So, my next one. This is a What Movie 1 purchase.
Hmm?
He actually sold it for a really reasonable price. I saw it and I was like, oh, there is a Criterion Collection film he's selling for
Nice.
$10. I had to get on it. If you
Nice.
want, his store is detailed down below in the description. But I went ahead and I got If
Ah,
with, what is his name?
Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell, yeah, when he was really young. And this is a very controversial film because it involves school shooting stuff, which I won't go any further than that, but trust me, it is pretty... it could be pretty triggering to the current crowd. Let's just say that.
Pun intended.
Yeah, so apparently Malcolm McDowell is a student at this boys' school, this boarding school, and of course he's in the group but not conforming and not fitting in. This is back in like the late 60s, and 69, and very different world back then. They were, of course, worried about he's like, why should I bother? We're just all going to be nuked to heck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious about it. It was very interesting. I haven't gotten into any of the special features, but I did want to check it out to make sure it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it does work quite well.
Cool.
Now, we're going to switch seats because I need to go and turn off the oven. So you can carry your 2 over here to that
Might be
seat.
a good plan.
Now I'm going to turn this oven off.
Okay, and shall I proceed?
Go for it.
Okay. Next up, they have a series that, as far as I know, is not an acclaimed series. I don't have terribly high hopes for it, but it was cheap and it looked fun, and I liked the title. And that's a series called Brighter Than the Dawning Blue.
Ah.
And like I said, this has been sitting on the shelf for a good while at this point. I've had this one for a while.
I have a figurine
No.
from that series. 2 figurines from that series.
I think no, I don't think I did get them. I think you were the wait, was it this one or was it wasn't it Daphne?
Oh,
and
sorry,
the
it was
Brilliant
Daphne
Blue?
and the
Yeah,
Brilliant Blue. That makes
which I
more sense.
have seen that one.
Yes.
Those 2 I became aware of at about the same time. And yes, it is easy to mix the titles up, but it looks fun. It looks like a good little kind of your typical early aughts kind of anime. So yeah, there you go.
All right. See, since we're in person,
Yeah,
it got wrinkly because it got that way in
it
the
is
dryer.
wrinkly.
So, another anime.
Ooh,
This one is Lupin the Third Part 5.
nice.
Now, I made a spectacle of showing off Part 3 because it was really cool. Because I'd had Part 2, Part 1, and Part 4 for a while, and then I was like, So just skipping part 3, and I was so happy that they got part 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is part 5, and I think part 6 is still ongoing. I can't remember whether they finished it or not. But I'm glad they're releasing it, that they're keeping up with it now. This one came out not that long ago. And it is cool to keeping up with the Lupin series. I really need to start watching Lupin again. I have not watched but a handful of episodes from season 2 when it was debuting on Cartoon Network.
Right.
I've watched mainly a lot of the movies and specials. So I look forward to getting into these and then just doing a big on watch of the collection there.
Very nice. So, a show that I very much enjoyed, that a mutual acquaintance of ours, who I can't really call a mutual friend because I know your thoughts, we spent a lot of time hanging out one summer when I was taking a summer class, and there were very few people in the dorm, and this particular show had been airing for about 2 seasons at that point on USA Network. And so I got introduced to Tony Shalhoub's Monk, which is a very enjoyable series. He plays Adrian Monk, as they say on the movie, on the front, OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Detective. It's a really great one. One of my favorite ones on here, one of my favorite ones in the show is on here, is Mr. Monk and the Red-Headed Stranger, which is the Willie Nelson episode. And Shalhoub got a ton of press for his performance, and he really does give a great performance. It's like the scene where he's jamming with Willie's band, and he's got his clarinet, and the guy in the band is trying to help him a little bit, and he puts his lips on the clarinet, and it's like, and Monk can't join the jam session because he can't touch his lips, and you see his heartbreak on his face. It's just great. It's a great moment. I only have this is actually one of the first TV collections I ever got. And because Mr. Monk is OCD, I have felt that I need to be OCD in collecting this series. I have felt like I need to have these exact editions. I've come to the realization that ain't never happening unless I spend a mint on it. So instead, I'm going to get the complete series one day. For right now, this is the placeholder for the series. But good series, worth checking out. And it has 2 of the best opening themes any show. It had a really awesome kick-ass instrumental. I don't know why they got rid of it. It pissed me off that they did. But Randy Newman's It's a Jungle Out There is a pretty fun song, too. So, you know.
Right stuff. Stuff. So, a series I've been enjoying is one I came to a little bit late. Not that late, like around season 3 I got into it, which is Rick and Morty. And I enjoyed it. I really did. It's kind of a play on the Back to the Future characters, but in a much more disturbing way.
Yes.
I usually wait until I can get them on DVD for about $10 a season, which I haven't gotten that way with 5 yet, but I did get season 4 for that. And I've enjoyed it. I mean, the art style is not super complex, so to me, I don't feel it needs the extra clarity, but it's very enjoyable. I'm glad to have it. Sort of like Adventure Time. Like Adventure Time, I've got that all on DVD. I didn't feel the need to have it all on Blu-ray. And this one the same way. I don't really feel that need. So I'm looking forward to eventually watching this season. I've watched all of the first 3. So I understand the Mulan sauce thing after the fact. And Pickle Rick. And I'm not exactly sure what went on this season. I've heard this one was more hit or miss. And I've heard that season 5 was even more hit or miss. But sometimes I think to myself, maybe a series does outweigh its Well, I remember we were
Most
talking.
series do.
I was talking with somebody because they had posted like we were talking about this anime discussion about like this series. There is no such. The guy's like, there is no such thing as a series that goes on too long. If I could do it, I would take all of my favorite anime and they would run forever. They would never end in my lifetime.
Must be a One Piece fan.
And I was like, because we were talking about fairy tales.
Yeah.
Like, fairy tale should never have ended. It should just have been ongoing forever, and it would always be as good. And I was like, that doesn't apply to a lot of things. And a lot of times it's better to finish on top than to go the Simpsons route.
Yeah.
Or even Family Guy, to where you've got a lot of hit or misses.
Now, one thing that would be interesting is they've recently announced a third run of Futurama, and we'll see how that goes.
And the voice of Bender isn't coming back.
May or may not. He's angling for more money, which is appropriate for the voice of Bender.
And, to me, I don't.
Well, see, this was a good example because his assistant, who's played by Bitty Schramm, left, I think, at about the 4th or 5th season. And a lot of people said it just wasn't the same after she was replaced by a new person, and it's like...
And sometimes that can be a good thing.
Sometimes it can, sometimes not. Like, good example would be Cheers, I guess, where they swapped out Diane for Rebecca. I mean, that was a big cast change. That...
I remember when
sort
Coach
of worked.
Well,
Coach, they had to replace
he died.
him. He died, yeah.
But, replacing him with Woody Harrelson, which
that was a great...
turned out to be...
That was a great turnout there.
Pretty good turnout. So, you never know. It's just,
right.
I don't know. It's just, I think Futurama had a definitive ending.
Mm-hmm.
It was good enough as it is, and then, but we're going to go back because, hey, we can't possibly do anything else. I mean, what's this new series?
Yeah, new?
No, that doesn't work. No, we gotta just do the same thing.
Well, see, Fairy Tale's a good example because they did have an end goal.
Yes.
And they worked toward it, and they reached it. And then they had a very legitimate reason for a spin-off, which was the 100 Years Quest. Now, that's still so early in its run that we don't know where it's going to go. But it was a legitimate reason to continue it, but in a different direction, because they've ended the main plot line. So it's a little different. But
now One Piece is one that people will argue, well, some series are just as good at episode 1000 as they were at episode 1. I don't know. I just think that it's... Right. Then when I see 1,000 episode series, I go, all right, well, I'll go on to something else.
Yeah, because you gotta bear in mind also it's a much higher barrier of entry for anyone who's new to the thing. Speaking of along those lines, a franchise that's becoming increasingly large and bloated. I know there's at least 4 seasons, and I think they're planning on more. And currently I have 2 of them in my collection, and I have presented the most recent one I acquired. But the first one that I have, that I've been sitting on for a while now, is High School Dxd.
Ah, you got the cool set.
I have the cool set, the very nice looking. I made a point to get this set. I don't know why. I just suddenly decided I had to have this version of the set.
Now you need to get those sets for all the seasons.
I wanted to, but it's hard to do.
That's expensive to do.
It is expensive. Now, I didn't pay nearly what it says on the cover there, but, still... This, actually, I think I got that as a present. So, of course, I didn't pay that much. But anyway, it's a show I want to see. It still amuses me, some of the people who have raved about this to me. I've mostly heard good things, though, and I really want to see it. But it is nice to have at least one of them in the really pretty box.
Hey, it's ecchi, and people really love ecchi. And more power to them. I mean, I think I debuted my copy, which is not as nice as yours of the first season. So, but I wasn't willing to pay a lot for it.
Right.
My last one is one that got me to finally get the original Urban Legends, which was Urban Legends: The Final Cut, which I ended up getting from Dane. And as you can see, it's not opened. This is, I believe, a Shout Factory. Yep, or Scream Factory, same company.
Right.
Shout Factory release. I have not seen this, but it's of course, it's the sequel to Urban Legends, and we talked about that a couple weeks ago actually, because I showed this one, the original, off, and I don't know. I really like the first one, so I'm curious about the second one. Eventually, I will watch it.
Okay.
Who knows when eventually will be, but it will happen eventually.
Now, and again, one thing we can say about the Funimation sets is that these boxes are sturdy, which we can't say for places like, say, Aniplex, Now, of course, another company that was well known for their sturdy boxes, this is an older series that I have known about for the longest time and never bothered to watch it. I finally got a hold of a nice art box copy. This is one of the old ADV releases, and that is Eden's Bowie.
Ah.
Which, look at that. It's a really nice, sturdy, kind of takes up a lot of space, and you need a deep shelf for these. But it's still a nice looking set. And, again, it's a show that I don't know an extraordinary amount about.
It's alright.
Yeah, that's mostly what I've heard. But it's, again, one that's been, when back in the day, back when we had Movie Stop, and back when we had, we would go and we would see this on the shelf all the time. But not usually this. It was usually like the individual pieces of the series, You'd see them all the time, and you go, what is this show? Why do I keep running into it? But anyway, I do want to see it one of these days. I do have this nice collection, collecting dust. One day I'll get to it. Who knows? Maybe it'll come up in our... Actually, I could see this coming up in the Andy.
Yeah, I could see that one. I don't know about Eden's.
Maybe Book of Bantura for
maybe
lucky.
if somebody's like really like,
Right.
we have to do it. I mean...
You
it's
never
sort of
know
like,
with that group.
I mean, June there was something that I was. Oh yeah, Puella. I was
that'd be a nice
because
one.
I'm covering the movies for my birthday, so I was going
Ah.
to encourage people us to coordinate by doing the series for anime discussion.
Cool.
Sort of like I'm going to try and go on with Mo on his channel while we cover the DMC live action.
Ah.
In March. See, you listen to this channel, you get a little bit of a heads up for that. So we'll be covering the anime on his channel.
Cool.
So that's going to be fun. I know Mo's looking forward to that one
I
because
bet.
of that. So that's going to be a cool thing. So we got some fun stuff coming up. After next week, we're going to try and figure out. The problem is February's such a freaking short month.
Yeah.
We were going to do an Oscar discussion, but we just don't have time.
Yeah.
We didn't even do our predictions as to what could be the nominees, but I would have
didn't.
had Jack to say. I'd be like,
I would have gotten a few of them right, but I would not have gotten them all right.
I'd have gotten a lot of the animated except for Flea.
Yeah.
But I would have said Flea is the... there's going to be one outlier that none of us are going to be able to guess. It's an artsy film that's going to be up there. And sure enough, that's the one that filled that space.
And we could have guessed that Belle was going to get reamed.
Well, yeah. I knew Belle wasn't going to get up there.
That was.
I mean,
although it's cool the way that Flea made history, so I really do want to see that. But anyway,
it's good. It's epically good.
Cool. That's good to know. So yeah, look forward to some Oscar programming, but who knows how much or when or where.
Probably March sometime. Oscars are at the end of March.
Yeah.
We'll have more time for filming in March. I don't have to worry about anything for Dane. Hopefully everybody is well. I mean, I'm sounding better now than I have because I realized, so I finally was able to double up on allergy medications.
Okay.
And though I still got sniffles, they're subdued. Not like they had been where I was just like, all the time, which I've been. So I've managed to deal with that. So we're getting there. Once we get past this month, I think we're going to be moving. All right, and hopefully we'll clear this up camera-wise, but we're going to be shooting not next week, but starting the week after that, downstairs where we were supposed to be shooting, with our proper setup.
Sounds good.
So we're gonna have a whole new thing when we get to that. But in any case, I will see you guys on the next. Goodbye.